Hi everyone, welcome to our markers video. What we had recently was a session with our markers online, and this is a video which very much summarises that training. Sandy Wyatt, as you may know, is our wonderful administrator in our office who manages our markers, and I'm sure I will be referencing her as we go through the video. But hopefully this will just summarise the training that we had via Zoom. We're very lucky to have lots of markers within our centres who mark the homework and do an amazing job, but hopefully this will be a video that they can watch and follow through just so that they understand our expectations and the role of a marker. So let's make a start. So as you can see here, we've got a picture of Sandy and myself. Sandy manages the markers at Teach It Right, and certainly any questions that you have about your marking role can be channeled through Sandy. And I know she's also responsible for sending out things like timesheets and things like that, and just making sure that you know what time you need to be in the centres and all about that role. Particularly if you need anything, then she is your port of call. So within this video, there will be three things that we're going to cover off. We're going to talk about the role of the marker at Teach It Right and what that involves. We're also going to talk about the priorities in the centres and analyse some spreadsheets and some marked pages. And of course, we will look at maybe some questions at the end as well that have been sort of commonly asked as well. So let's start by, first of all, just looking at those responsibilities, and we've labelled this in our job description as well for the markers. But the first thing is to think about setting up a classroom, collecting the students' homework books at the beginning of the lessons, and just being a support there for not only the centre managers but also for the tutors as well if they need any help with setting things up. To mark the appropriate week's homework by the following homework overview, obviously focusing on the You Must section. And our minimum expectation for our students is that they complete the You Must. If they do the You Could, that's great, but that is a parental responsibility and not something that we would expect our markers to do, unless they have a huge amount of allotted time at the end of the session where they could delve into look at the You Could. We'd also ask markers to calculate the percentage marks achieved and award the correct coloured sticker. Green, amber, red and blue according to the traffic light system. And just to mention that the green, of course, is for children who have got most of the things right that they've completed. The amber, they may have made a few mistakes, but they've certainly understood what they've been doing. The red really indicates that they did find whatever they were tackling quite challenging. The blue sticker means that they actually haven't done that homework, and that is something that does need to be recorded, so we can follow that up either with the parents or just remind the child that they need to get those tasks done. To make sure that the page numbers for the red stickers are also recorded on the homework record, and this then indicates which particular topic that child has found more difficult. Also, as we've just said, identifying homework not completed by using a blue sticker within the classroom management system, which we'll have a little look at later on. Number 7 here is also really important, that if you ever do discover that there are lots of blues given out to children on their books and recorded in the CMS system, they do need to be backdated. So just going back, having a look, seeing if they did actually manage to get that homework finished, even though they may not have been present within that lesson. Also, to flag up to the tutor or the centre manager where homework is repeatedly missed, and that again is a really important part of the marker's role, is to feedback any trends that they notice within the children's homework. To ensure marking is completed, and of course books are handed back to students before the end of the lesson, and this is just a reminder that as it gets close to the end of the lesson, making sure those books go back and they can be distributed out by the tutor, and obviously they're not going home without those books, because they will obviously find that difficult to get their homework completed if they don't have the right resources. Also assisting tutors by sitting with new students, and also if they do finish marking early, do please go into the classroom. And I know our tutors love it when you go in and you support the children with what they're doing and just sort of take part within that session. Last couple of responsibilities, and this is really bit more so in the larger centres, but certainly we do like it if the markers can support with setting up things for workshops, and certainly in Reading, Maidenhead and Windsor where we have parental workshops held usually every 6 weeks. It's always nice if markers are around to help, maybe setting things up or even managing the tea and coffee and things like that. So please do always ask if there is any workshops going on, if there's anything you can do to help. Assisting with COVID-19 procedures, hopefully that is a bit more of a thing of the past, but Certainly, if anything like that needs to be arranged in terms of procedures within the centres to make sure everyone is safe, then we would draw upon your help for that as well. So those are the major responsibilities for the marking role at Teach It Right. The next thing we're just going to have a look at is the classroom management system. And this is very much an Excel spreadsheet, and this is where you will be recording down all of the homework. Now what we've done, we've just taken a snippet here of the first 4 weeks of block 1, and really what we asked within the training session was, what are the concerns with the above spreadsheet? So if we just pick out some of the things that we notice here, mainly within week 3, you can see there were quite a few children that were absent or didn't bring the right books. So this would be something that you'd need to do in terms of going back and looking at if that child was able to get their homework completed. But also week 2 and one child in week 1 and week 4, you'll notice there are blue stickers there. So those would need to be backdated as well. Fortunately, there's no reds there, but if there were any red stickers, then of course it would be a case of going to the tutor and highlighting that so they are able to follow that up with that pupil. So those are the major sort of concerns with that spreadsheet. We do really feel that there shouldn't really be any white boxes. It should always have a colour attached to it as well. So here we are, this is just a summary of that. So in this class there are 2 students absent in week 3. Did the pupils complete their homework for week 3? We're not sure, because it needs to be either a comment added, and you can add comments within the cells. If you just click on the cell, add comment, you can put anything extra, any extra information that you think will be helpful to identify what's happening in that week. And did the children with the no books have them in week 4 to mark? That again would be something which would need to be followed up. Here's another spreadsheet, and again, what are the concerns here? You can see from second from bottom, there are lots of colours attached to that student. So not only were they not able to do their homework in 2 weeks, they also had a red and they also had an amber. So that very much needs to be addressed, and I'm sure the tutor would pick up on that very quickly and either suggest additional support we can give with homework and just reinforce the importance of trying to get it done as well. And the second student from the top there has forgotten their books twice, so it's really maybe following that up with the parents. This would be something you could inform the tutor about, and they of course then will address it with the parents. So again, that's just a summary, those 4 points underneath, just about how to interpret that information. Here's another one. Certainly lots of greens there, which is great. Maybe the second student from the top again, 2 blues. Again, that would be something a little bit concerning, why they haven't managed to get it done 2 weeks out of the 6 or 2 weeks out of the 4 in this instance. So again, following that up. And not quite finished. Again, is it a case of going back and seeing if they did manage to finish that off? And again, a comment could be added. So we would expect to see within these cells certainly some comments that could be added, and also maybe even a percentage attached as well to each of the tests that they've done or the work that they've completed. That's always nice if you can put that in. And again, that just mentions here, not quite finished. Was it a case that that child did go back and do it? So what we're going to look at now are some sort of common marking pointers, so just a few reminders about when you are marking. So we've just taken a typical page here. Some of you will be very familiar with this blue synonyms and antonyms book that we used in block 1. But if you just have a look down through that page, this might be a good opportunity perhaps to pause this video, just have a look, see if you can identify anything that is wrong, something that you would be aware of if you were looking at this, thinking, actually, has this been marked accurately? So imagining your students looking at this page and obviously wanting to understand how they've got on. Has this been marked accurately? So you may well have noticed a few things. So if we just go to the next slide, what I've done is I've just highlighted things that are concerning really about this piece of marking. So first of all, anguish is actually a synonym, so that should have had a nice tick next to it. So again, accuracy is really important. We do need to make sure that we are marking it against that mark scheme. The mark schemes are always in the back of the books, so just being aware of that. This again is something whereby a child has marked 2 of the answers down. As you can see from number 4, cruel is actually the right answer, but they've put caring. So that again would be something maybe to highlight to the child, just to mention only marking 1 possible answer, not 2. And as we go down, you can see here, twist and twine, not quite sure which one they wanted to go for. So that again might be making your answers clear. Maybe just a little comment there that you could put. The reason we've circled this word is due to the scribbles. We only would expect to sort of see one line put through a word, not scribbling through it. Again, it makes it hard to read, particularly if you're going back to it, but also it's a bit of a time waster as well. And I don't understand question 9. This would need to be sort of followed up, and it could be a case of writing peripheral and what it means. This could be something they could put in their word and meaning book. So really important that marking is informative. Don't forget you are allowed to add a comment, certainly if a child has done something really well and you've been really impressed, but you can also help them out with the explanations on how to achieve the right answer. And this is also applicable to things like non-verbal, where you can easily copy out the explanation from the back and just explain how they achieve that actual answer. So as an example, if it was, say, odd one out, you could write down how the figure was the odd one out compared to the rest of those figures. So again, be as informative as you can. The other reason that we've circled the 8 out of 10 here, of course, if you add them up, it is an 8 out of 10. So again, just being really, really accurate with the actual marking as well. Really good effort. That's always a nice comment to put down. And certainly the next slide that we're going to show you now has a whole range of words that you could possibly assign to the children's homework. So don't forget, you can always put great work or impressive or wow, particularly if a child's done well. I know some of our centre managers also provide stickers and things like that that you can add in to sort of jazz up your homework marking. One of the things that we know within the workplace, it is really important that our markers do look smart and are wearing the appropriate clothing. So do remember, you are huge ambassadors for Teach It Right. Certainly our parents coming into the centres will be looking at us and the way we present ourselves. It's very important to Teach It Right that we look smart. So please do make sure that we don't have, for example, things like ripped jeans and things like that. We do look presentable, we do look smart. It is a workplace, and that certainly I know reflects well on us, but it also looks really good from our customers' point of view as well. One of the things we have noticed, and we know many of our markers have mobile phones, and quite understandably if they need to contact anyone or contact their parents to pick them up, but we would ask when they are actually working not to have their mobile phones or be using their mobile phones, certainly in those down periods. Do ask if there's anything else that you can be doing. We do understand that some of you do use them for calculating percentages and things like that, and also contacting your parents if required. But we wouldn't generally want to be seeing you on your mobile phone unless it is work related. So if you can please ensure that that happens. One of the things that we have decided to do for this academic year is give some awards for our wonderful markers. So we will be choosing a few markers every block, and this will be based on things that we've noticed within the centres, going over and beyond, but helping out, making sure their marking is accurate, and doing the things that, of course, we've mentioned within this video. So please be aware that we will be giving some vouchers, some gift cards, and some Costa vouchers for markers every block. So look out for that, and we will notify you if you have been successful. So this is the final slide, and we did say within our Zoom training, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. So please don't be fearful of sending over an email to Sandy Wyatt or myself and asking anything if you're unsure, and certainly within the centres, if you're not sure about something or you want some clarification or there's something you're worried about within the books that you don't quite know how to deal with, do ask the centre managers, do ask the tutors. Don't feel like you're on your own with the marking. And can I also finally finish off by saying thank you very much to all of our markers at Teach It Right. You are wonderful individuals. As I mentioned within the presentation, you are ambassadors to us, so keep up the good work, and thank you very much for all you do at Teach It Right. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.